Hello everyone, my name is Matt and we're back with another discussion around where to from here. Today we're going to be focusing on the connect aspect of Business Plus, answering that question, where do you go from here? How do I engage with this aspect and what does it mean? And also, most importantly, what is the value of it? Why should you be doing this? So Connect is the mentoring, really the mentoring part of our program, and is really an essential part of employability that can have so much value to you as a graduate and as a professional going through life. You certainly don't have to be a student to engage in mentoring, and you can definitely engage in multiple mentoring relationships. So the industry mentoring program, Griffith's mentoring program, and it's been running for a long time. And it really helps you tap into the insights of a professional that has walked the path and allows you to expand your network and create a really strong ally going forward into your career. Today, my guest is Nicole Graham, an experienced career development consultant and the lead of our IMP. Nicole also runs her transformational coaching program focused around values-based coaching and is really passionate about networking. Also a yoga therapist as well, so very, very talented. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you.
So Connect allows students through mentoring to get professional advice and connect with a mentor. And the research shows that students and people that have mentors are more successful in life. There's a few reasons as to why they are. So it's really something that all business students and Griffith students should be considering at some point in their student life cycle. And the IMP is clearly on Griffith's thing there. You can all find it clearly. I'll have the link there in the slides for you to access, and this contributes directly to Business Plus. So Connect allows you to explore your career pathways and potential pathways that have already been trodden by a professional in the career or industry that you're interested in. You can ask questions and learn from their experiences and provide your own experiences, creating a two-way conversation. It'll develop your personal and professional confidence and give you exposure to things that perhaps you would not get otherwise. So how does it work? So you register for the Griffith Industry Mentoring Program. There are links on our Business Plus SharePoint, or you can find it via the homepage. You can establish your own mentoring relationship outside of the IMP if that's what you're interested in. You may want to take advantage of the program with multiple mentors. Some students do that as well. And there are various other associations you can do this off your own bat as well. And then you simply reflect on that, add that reflection around the value and the conversation and the types of things you've got out of the program, and upload it to your Business Plus workbook, which contributes towards the Griffith credential. So I would like to stop presenting and say hello officially to Nicole. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Matt. Thanks for inviting me along to have a chat to everyone.
So now we know a little bit more about you. I would like to start with the first question around the IMP, helping students to understand a little bit more about what that is and why it is valuable. So what is it? What's the IMP and how does it work in plain terms?
Okay, so we like to call it the IMP because it's mischievous and exciting and always changing and fun to be around. The IMP turns 28 this year, and we started all that time ago with 15 mentors and 15 mentees. And now our community of mentors is over 1,000 strong. And these mentors, they come from all disciplines and they come from all over the world. So some people think, oh, well, I can only have a mentor if I'm sitting in Southeast Queensland, but that is actually not true at all. The important thing to know about our mentors is that they're volunteers. And so they give generously of their time, their wisdom, their experience. And really, the reason why they do that is they want to support Griffith students and recent graduates. So our program also is for any graduate who's been out of university for less than 12 months. And what they're there to do is to help them achieve their career learning objectives and their career goals.
That's awesome. I've recently started a mentoring program similar to this, and I can already see the value in that. So I mean, what is the value from an employability sense, which is what we're here for? Why should students be looking to do that? How does it contribute to making them a better graduate?
Oh gosh, that's such a big question because I think there's so many reasons. I mean, I'm going to put it into a few different categories. So I think one is information. So when you're sitting in the classroom, or you're sitting on the end of your computer screen and you're considering your future career, you're often operating with a very limited amount of information, but you've got a lot of big decisions to make. What am I going to do with this degree? What's my next first step? What am I going to do after I graduate? But in order to make good decisions, you really need a decent amount of good quality information, and it can be hard to get as a student. So I think we break down barriers to that information. And specifically, when I think of what kinds of information, I think about career options. So a lot of times, when your career is just developing in those early stages, you've got some ideas around your career options, but there's a lot of stuff you don't know. So, a lot of the really interesting careers, particularly I think in business, kind of sit within the intersections of disciplines, where you're maybe doing, an HR role, but you're doing it in a health context, or, so there's some really exciting opportunities there, and an opportunity as well to do quite interesting and exciting and impactful work. But you're not necessarily thinking that about, when you're sitting in the classroom, you're thinking about what graduate programs are out there and who can I apply for. And so I think what one thing mentoring really does is it cracks open the information piece and really gets you thinking about the huge nuanced variety of career options that would await you after graduation. The other piece that I think is really important, and what we know from statistics, is the networking piece. So we've probably all heard about the hidden job market. We know that between 70 to 80% of jobs are unadvertised at any given time. And we all know that networking is how we break through that barrier. And the problem with networking is that even though we know that we need to do it, it still makes almost everyone nervous. Like, like I've had students, getting ready to attend a networking function who've literally thrown up in front of me at the thought of networking. This is the role of a career counselor. It's very exciting. So in the IMP, one of the things that we do is we break down the barriers to networks. And we give you a group of people who from the get-go want to network with you. And so that is big in terms of building that confidence piece. In a regular networking context, so if you're walking into a room full of strangers, or you're on LinkedIn and you want to approach someone, it might take months or even years to get to the point where you've deepened a relationship with someone to the point where you're comfortable saying, hey, will you mentor me? But what we've done is we've just shortcutted that process, and we've got people who are keen to, share their expertise. And so, you're going into that environment knowing that you're going to get some really quality engagement, and it's not just that cocktail party chit chat, what do you do, and tell me about yourself, and that kind of thing. So, so I think the information piece is huge, and the networking piece is huge. And then what that then relates to is what I always call the confidence piece. And confidence in graduates is so important. So if you look at the data and you look at the research on it, it actually really clearly demonstrates that graduates that have that confidence, career confidence, do so much better than those who don't. And if you've got information on your side and you have networks to fall back on, then that's going to just give you that base of confidence to operate from. And it's a game changer.
And I noticed that there were career confidence series around. Am I right in that? It's perfect segue, I guess. And those
Yeah.
are available for students as well as staff. Is that right?
That's exactly right. So these are on a range of different topics that students and staff might be grappling with, maybe to make it, very dramatic, things like interviews and performing well, things like building networks, things like writing your resume, all of those kind of things.
Great. And I know we're going to have links to those up soon as well that we can promote, because they, fantastic, and a perfect synergy with the mentoring piece. Another aspect I mentioned with Business Plus, it doesn't have to be necessarily through the IMP. Students can develop their own relationships if they wish, and some professional associations like Institute of Management and Leaders may have that structure and framework where students can jump into a mentoring program, but they could also establish a relationship perhaps with a like-minded academic that they really gel with, right? But what are some of the ways they can seek that out? How would they have that first conversation? And what are the things that they should be looking to know? Like, okay, what do I need to know before I start this? What do I want to get out of it? Talk students through that mindset.
Okay. So again, I'm just going to start laying the groundwork a bit around the variety of mentoring that's out there. So my own personal feeling about mentoring is that, it comes to you in many forms, and a lot of the really good quality mentoring that we get might be informal, and that's okay, and it's actually more than okay. It's great. The more mentoring, the better. Increasingly, what we see is organizations really putting a focus on mentoring skills, both in being a good mentee, but also being able to translate your experience as a mentee to, pay that forward and mentor someone else. So increasingly, we're seeing organizations ask for mentoring skills and coaching skills as part of their recruitment process. So I always say mentoring is a muscle, and, you want to keep that muscle, trained and fit. And so I would definitely encourage the exploration of mentoring in as many different contexts as you possibly can. You're always going to learn something, and that's amazing. I think a couple of things around, how do you prepare? And I feel like this is a process that is it needs to be self-renewing. So we want to be constantly in that reflective mode of understanding, where are my knowledge gaps? Now, with obviously, it's, there is a saying, you don't know what you don't know. And so sometimes you don't know where your knowledge gaps are. But in thinking about it, maybe even getting feedback from people that what are those things that you're struggling with? If you had to make a big decision about moving forward in your career right now, what information would you like to have that you currently don't? So asking yourself those questions around where are the knowledge gaps for you right now, and where are the skills gaps for you right now? And these are what we call in IMP, we call these your learning objectives. So before you even approach anybody for mentoring, we would want encourage people to have some clear learning objectives. Now, as you get to know your mentor and things move forward, your objectives will probably evolve. You'll learn some things and you'll set new objectives, but have that base in mind. And then from there, I think it's also really important to personalize your approach to anyone that you might be requesting or approaching with regard to mentoring. So why have you chosen them? Specifically, what have you, what is it that you want to learn? People always want to help, and having been in the mentoring space for as long as I've been, I think, I'm always shocked and humbled by the amount of effort that people will put into a mentoring relationship, and how much people will help strangers, just because they love helping. But if you can't be clear about what help you need, then there's no value on either side. And then that investment of time doesn't actually get anywhere. So I think that clarity, understanding your gaps, being specific about what you need, and then approaching that with clarity to the person so that you know what that work is for the partnership that's in front of you.
Fantastic advice, really great. And just before we wrap up, I know we mentioned this earlier before we started recording was around one of the myths of mentoring, right? I recently begun myself and quickly figured that it was far more than just about me getting something out of a mentor, right? Students should not see it as a one-way relationship, right? In many cases, the mentors are looking to get just as much out of the mentees and develop that muscle, develop those mentoring and coaching skills themselves, right?
Absolutely. And students often bring so much to the relationship that, they are not even conscious of. We actually do a survey in industry mentoring because we have many mentors in our program who have been mentoring Griffith students and graduates for a decade or more, and they keep coming back year after year. And so they are actually I call them the mentoring masters. They're so good at it. But the other thing is that, I really wanted to understand, what keeps them coming back. We all know that we're all busy, the pressure of time, we all are managing huge workloads, but yet they carve this time out of their lives to come back. And so I started sending a survey around to mentors. And one of the things that came through was a lot of our mentors feel that they are learning as much from their students as the students are learning from them. And some of that knowledge might be cultural, so if you come from a different background than your mentor and you're able to give them insight to new ways of thinking or an international or global perspective, that might be a lot of value. So sometimes it's the things that are so basic to us, but that really enable us to offer value.
Yeah, that's awesome. So true, so true. Well, look, that's fantastic. I think we could talk about this all day, really, but I will leave it there and really encourage our business students to go and check out and sign up for the IMP. They don't have to be third year, right? They can start this in their first or second year. They just have to have an understanding of what those objectives might be. Is that correct? Or they do have to have a few years in the system. Please make that clear.
So they have to have 80 credit points.
80 credit points.
Because a lot of our mentors really like to engage specifically on the discipline front, so that at least they have some discipline stuff underneath them before they are entering into the relationship. So 80 credit points or a post-grad student at any level.
At any level, right. And they could be, like you said, Riley, up to 12 months, earlier than 12 months out of their thing. So they can be an alumni as well, which is really impressive because most of the time as an active student, once you graduate, you lose access to some of these opportunities. So that's a really good thing to know for students that are about to graduate, right? That they can still take advantage of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And, specifically to any grads that might be out in the labor market and, that are not getting the results from their job search that they want or don't really quite know where they're heading. Like those are the people in particular. I mean, everyone can benefit, but like those are the people, it's like, come back and let us help you because your next step is there, but you just might not know what it is yet.
Yeah, perfect. Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Nicole. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. I hope that the students watching this get a lot out of it and sign up to the IMP or get involved in mentoring in any capacity. Huge value to their own development. Have a lovely day. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Matt. Really appreciate your time.